So as we all know, this YNW Melly case, this shit been going on for about 10 years now. This case been going on for about 10 years, bro. Allegedly, he smoked his two homeboys, and one of the other homeboys that was in the car apparently took a plea deal. So let's see what this talking about. Let's get down to the bottom of this shit, bro. Let's get down to the bottom of this shit, bro. Let's go.
September 9th, 2025. YNW Bortlen shook the internet as he took a plea deal that was live streamed to YouTube. Facing 5 life sentences with an additional 75 years in Florida State Prison, Bortlen's legal team was able to do the damn near impossible. Pleading no contest, the state agreed to drop 2 counts of first-degree murder for the shooting deaths of YNW Juvie and Sack Chaser.
Oh, so they dropped both them bodies.
A conspiracy to tamper with the witness and a count of directing gang activities. By entering a plea of no contest, Bortlen has not admitted guilt, has not admitted the existence or involvement in a gang,
right,
and has not implicated himself or others in a murder.
Right.
In exchange for his plea, Bortlen has been found guilty of 1 count of tampering with a witness, 2 counts of being an accessory to a capital felony, and 1 count of unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Bortlen has been sentenced to 10 years in Florida State Prison on these charges, to be followed by 6 years of probation. He was also credited for his time in jail.
Bro, whoever your lawyers is, bro, they need a fucking Oscar or something. You just went from 5 life sentences, bro, to 10 years. You had 75 plus years to 10 years, and they took off 2 bodies off your charges, bro. That's crazy as fuck. That's crazy as fuck. That, you ratted, bro. You ratted, or you about to rat. If you ain't ratted, you finna rat, bro.
Bortlen was arrested back in 2019 and wouldn't receive a bond for 15
2019.
months.
Bro, this case right here, bro, this shit literally been going on since I was in, like, fucking middle school. Real shit, this shit been going on since middle school. I probably was in, like, 7th grade when they got arrested for this shit, bro.
In October of 2023, he'd be rearrested, remaining in jail until now, lasting an additional 23 months. In all, Bortlen did a total of 38 months in jail, just over 3 years, meaning his 10-year sentence is already down to 7. Due to Florida law, 85% of a prison sentence must be completed. So if Bortlen is on his best behavior, he could be released in just under 6 years at the young age of 32. This plea deal for 2 capital murders is nothing short of fucking amazing. But it came with a twist that has the internet going crazy. Just after letting Bortlen know everything that came with the plea, the judge...
And that's the thing about the government too, bro. Everything be looking sweet, but everything has a plot twist.
FBI, open up!
Everything has a plot twist. Literally, bro. Literally. No way you just got off of all these charges and you don't got to do nothing for them. You got to do something. Something.
Would highlight the fact that after the plea is made, the state wants to take a proffer from Bortlen. An immediate flag on the play, a proffer is defined under Florida law as an agreement to speak with prosecutors to share information. This would lead everyone from Say Cheese, academics, No Jumper, my fucking self, and even Melly's old lawyer Bradford Cohen to assume the worst. Bortlen was now going to snitch on Melly.
All right, let's talk YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen. He is now doing the triple Lindy.
Who is this?
For those youngsters that don't know what the triple Lindy is, it is when you do several flips off a high dive, and he will be flipping. He is going to be...
Oh, damn. See, like I said, everything comes with a twist. So basically, okay, this shit starting to make sense now. So he took this plea deal, but now he got to tell the court everything that he know about what happened with YNW Melly, bro. That means they really trying to get YNW Melly gone. Because the first trial ended in a mistrial. So that means they trying to do everything in their power to get him gone.
About anything he knows about the double murder case, and they will know if he's telling the truth or telling a lie when he gives his full quote-unquote confession as to what happened that evening. And that's what happens. A lot of times where guys are in the prison for 4 or 5 years awaiting trial and looking at a life sentence, and they're offered 10 years where they'll be home probably in another 3 years that he'll serve. He decides to flip and become a cheese eater. And that's what happens a lot of times on these cases. And I was expecting it to happen a lot sooner than it did. He held out for quite some time. But long story short is it looks like he's going to flip. And it makes the case on YNW Melly, depending on what he says, which I anticipate he'll say that YNW Melly is responsible. But depending on what he says...
Right, depending on what he says, bro, this shit is about to literally break the internet, bro. If he tells the 100% truth, like he's supposed to, that shit's gonna break the internet, bro. People been wondering, has YNW Melly done this shit since, for what, 2019? 7 years, bro. 7 years, nobody knows what happened besides these two people right here. These two people are the only people that know what happened because they the only ones who survived from that car. That's gonna be crazy, bro.
It will make the YNW Melly case a lot more difficult to try, but still not impossible. I've had cases where there were flipping witnesses where, I had a federal case with several flipping witnesses where we still got a not guilty, and it's possible to still get a not guilty in this case. Obviously, it's going to make it a lot more difficult. He has an excellent lawyer, by the way, Fred Haddad, who's a friend of mine, and I know Fred would have done a very good job for him at trial, but ultimately it is an individual's decision whether or not to become Chuck E. Cheese, and in this case he has become Chuck E. Cheese. Is Chuck E. Cheese a mouse or a rat? I'm not sure, but long story short is he will be flipping, and it's going to make the case against YNW Melly a lot more difficult to win.
Now, as a man, I always leave room to stand corrected in any situation. And I have to give a shout out to my boy Seti Nash for his thorough journalism in this case. Bortlen's main lawyer, Fred Haddad, would release a statement saying, "I don't represent snitches. Cortland Henry is not a snitch, and he will not be cooperating or testifying in YNW Melly's trial." And
See. That's not what that plea deal say, though. That's not what that plea deal. And that plea deal states he got to say everything he know about what happened. Unless he take the YSL Woody route and just go up there and play slow. That's about your best option. Go up there and play slow, my guy.
anyone who claims differently has not seen the plea deal and has no idea what they're talking about. Well, in my humble opinion, what the fuck else would a prophet be other than the snitch? Why would the state want to sit down with Bortlen if he wasn't obligated by the plea deal to cooperate against the main man they believe is the shooter? Why would Bortlen's sentence go from 5 life sentences plus 75 to only serving 7 years in prison? What else would they have to talk about when the only thing left to do in the case is convict Melly? Even the judge would tell Bortlen in court, "I don't know how your lawyers pulled this off." Well, I reached out to Bortlen.
When the fuck did the judges get the tweeting, bro? When did the judges get the tweeting on the case?
I don't know how your lawyers pulled this off. Well, I reached out to Bortlen's other lawyer, Joe Nascimento, who further clarified Bortlen has not agreed to testify and will not provide any statement implicating Melly or anyone else. This plea agreement brings closure to Bortlen's cases and will be the last time he appears in a courtroom.
Hey, 1090 Jake. Thanks for giving me the chance to clear up a lot of the confusion and just chaos that's happening online right now after YNW Bortlen's plea this afternoon went viral on social media. It's clear that a lot of people just don't understand what has happened. So I want to start by talking about what he was charged with. He was facing 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of accessory after the fact of first-degree murder, tampering with a witness, conspiracy to tamper with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal gang, and utilization of a 2-way communication device to commit a felony. In all, he was facing 5 mandatory life sentences if found guilty, plus an additional 75 years on top of that. The facts of his plea are that he has pled no contest. That's very important because that means...
Hold on, bro. Let me add this shit up. Hell nah. Let me add this shit up right quick. My calculator. So, A life sentence, if you don't know, a life sentence is 25 years. So he had 5 life sentences, which is 125, plus an additional 75 years. Hold on, can you get that? Bro, he was facing 200 years in prison, bro. He was facing 200 years in prison. What the fuck?
He has not admitted guilt. He's not admitted that he's done anything wrong. And he's certainly not admitted or given information about anybody else.
200 years to 10, though,
in
is
exchange,
crazy.
The state has dismissed the 2 murder counts, the conspiracy to tamper with a witness count, and the charge about directing the activities of a criminal gang. He's going to be sentenced to 10 years in Florida State Prison, followed by 6 years of probation with credit for time that he has served.
Which is what, 6-7 years?
Part of that, to sit down and give what's called a proffer. Typically, when you hear the word proffer, especially in a criminal case, it's when a witness offers information or will explain
and can be used against them.
Testify to if called at trial or a hearing. It's unfortunate that we use that word today in court because that's not what's going to happen in this case. Bortlen is not going to sit down and give a lengthy proffer or answer questions about what he would testify to if he were called as a witness, because we don't anticipate him being called as a witness at any trial or any hearing, especially not one involving Melly. What I can tell you is that Bortlen is not going to implicate anybody else. He's not going to provide information against anybody else. Melly's name is not even going to come out of his mouth when he's talking to prosecutors in this case.
Yeah, I like him.
I anticipate
the
conversation with the prosecutors is going to be very, very brief, and it is not going to be what everyone thinks it's going to be online, where he sits down and rats or provides information to cooperate against other people. So a lot of people are.
So basically, what I'm getting from this, it sounded like he about to take the YSL Woody route, bro, because he was in his car and he know everything that happened, bro. So for you to say and sit there that Melly name won't be mentioned in Melly case, I don't know how y'all finna pull this off. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Bortlen's plea and his proffer are gonna hurt Melly in some way and affect his trial,
right,
in the future. And again, that's absolutely untrue. YNW Bortlen is not going to be a state witness. YNW Bortlen is not going to provide information that's going to impact Melly's trial in any way. YNW Bortlen is not expected to come and provide information against anybody. So to be clear, his plea, his proffer, and anything surrounding it will have absolutely no impact on Melly's trial. I want to add just a little bit more background to what's happened over the past couple weeks. Neither defense nor the state wanted this case to go to trial this month. We believe that our case should be stayed until after Melly's appeals are resolved and his case is ready for trial, because our anticipation was that Melly's case would be tried before Bortlen's. However, the judge denied our request for a continuance and denied our request to stay Bortlen's case pending Melly's appeals.
Right.
So we were moving forward to trial, and we knew that we had a very strong.
Well, what sense does that make, though? You want Melly case to be before Bortlen's, but Bortlen took the plea to tell you everything he know. That don't make sense.
Defense to the murder counts. But for Bortlen to be successful, he would have to beat every single count, keeping in mind that he was facing 5 mandatory life sentences. So for him to take a deal that he's almost already served at least half of the sentence already, he doesn't have to admit that he did anything wrong. He doesn't have to testify against anybody else. He doesn't have to provide information that would affect Melly or anybody else about anything related to this case or any other case. It was a no-brainer for him to ensure that he gets to walk out of prison one day and live his life versus rolling the dice with a random jury, no matter how strong his defense is and how weak the case for the state was. So I'm really hoping that people can understand that and understand that it was a very tough decision for him, but it was very important to him that his decision have no impact on others.
While we don't know what Bortlen will be saying in his proffer with the prosecutors, the judge made it clear whatever he says will have no effect on his plea deal. Meaning, he could apparently say anything, or not much of anything at all. Bortlen technically didn't beat the murders, the charges were dropped. So if he sat down and admitted to the murders, he would be recharged. And with that in mind, I wonder if Bortlen would be able to plead the fifth.
Yeah, so basically, so let me break this shit down to you, bro. So basically, the proffer, when he's doing the proffer, he can say, "I killed the," hypothetically, he can say, "I unalive these two people, bro." Now, the next day, and you not in that proffer no more, if you say, "I unalive these two people," you going back to jail. Only during the proffer can you admit to something like that, and it's not gonna be used against you, bro. And it's not gonna be used against you. So if you say that the next day after your proffer, you cooked. You cooked.
Invoking his Fifth Amendment right, which guarantees no person shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. Meaning Bortlen could potentially refuse to speak to keep himself from further incriminating himself. We won't know until it happens, and we'll have to wait until then to see what's actually said. Normally very vocal, YNW Melly's mom has remained silent after Bortlen's plea, and she was present when it happened. No word has come from Melly's legal team, as he's now represented by legal powerhouse Drew Finley. And even Bradford Cohen, Melly's old lawyer, would backtrack from his initial statement about Bortlen.
All right, let's get to it. Let's talk YNW Bortlen and YNW Melly. The information is coming in fast and furious to my office. People are calling me left and right. They saw the post. You know what time it is. And they are telling me that YNW Bortlen is not going to be a flipper, and he is not going to be the cheese eater I previously said that he could become. And he is going to give a statement. I don't know what that statement's going to be, but his attorney is an excellent attorney. He's one of my good friends and you know, really helped me out as a young attorney. Fred Haddad, a great guy. And he represented very, very few, if any, flippers in the past. That's why I was kind of surprised at first. But it turns out, the rumor on the street, YNW Bortlen is not going to be a flipper, but he will give a proffer.
So at this time, I, 1090 Jake, proudly stand corrected. And you know what? When Bortlen hits the DOC, I'll reach out to him personally with a, "My bad, bro, but cut me a little bit of slack because everybody thought you told." You know what I'm saying? I had a co-defendant that took a proffer and he
Shit, I still think he finna tell.
told everything on me. So when I heard proffer, I'm like, no.
Yeah, I still think he gonna tell it.
But reaching out and speaking to his lawyer, Joe, who was present in the courtroom with him that day, you know, I'm not a lawyer at the end of the day. None of these guys on YouTube, from Act to Say Cheese to fucking Vlad to Adam22, none of us are lawyers. We've just dealt with so many similar situations that, yeah, we could make a judgment based on what we've already experienced before. We've never heard of a proffer going good. You know what I mean? Like, we've never heard of sitting down with the prosecutors and they're not snitching. But I stand corrected. And I'm proud to, because you know what? Bortlen has held on for 6, damn near 7 years without folding on his man's Melly. And the fact that he's taken this plea and apparently nothing is going to affect Melly, that's some soldier shit.
Nah, that is W, man.
Because he
That is
could've
W,
folded a
man.
long time ago. So, like,
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. This right here is a crazy one, bro. Hey, I can't wait to see what Bortlen got to say in that courtroom. That shit's finna be wild. Stay tuned, man.